as a young man. He was a brilliant violinist, violist, and in the Moscow Symphony Orchestra. And he decided that he wanted to flee the Soviet Union, leave the Soviet Union. And well, to cut a long story short, it was basically impossible to do that. And the only opening, which was not really an opening, but it made it possible, though extremely dangerous, was to try to do so through Poland, but through being married to a Polish citizen. So my father and my mother, they married. I mean, they met, they married. He explained to her that his intention is to flee from the Soviet Union, and he has this crazy plan that's going to take a long time, but it's either that or nothing, because he is not doesn't intend to stay. And the plan was basically, he saw that there was in Poland, which did not exist in Russia. This is about 1967, 68. That there was a black market for dollars in Poland. If you had something to sell that was very valuable, or that wasn't attainable, you could sell it for dollars, and for dollars you could also buy tickets, train tickets, to other countries within the communist world. Only tickets though, not visas. So it was still risky. But he also saw that everyone is supposed to know Russian, but they don't. And here he comes all the way from Moscow, and he has a passport, and he has he saw that everyone was afraid of him, because they weren't used to seeing people from Moscow at all. And well, he basically, what he did, it took him about a year and a half, because according to Soviet Union law at the time, if you had a wife in Poland, you were allowed, I think it was every 3 months, to take a holiday of about 2 weeks, leave Russia, in other words, go to Poland and spend 2 weeks with your wife and then come back. So he did that. It took them about a year and a half. During this year and a half, he would buy in Russia things which were in those more special stores, things which were difficult to get in Poland, or maybe impossible to get. He would smuggle them to Poland, sell them in Poland on this black market, and amass dollars. And so after doing this for about a year and a half, he had enough money to buy the following tickets: Warsaw, Budapest, well, going south, right? Warsaw, Budapest, maybe Prague also first, and then Budapest, Moscow, Budapest, Bucharest, Bucharest, Moscow, Bucharest, I don't know where in Yugoslavia, maybe Zagreb, and Zagreb, Moscow. And so he went, he got onto a train with his suitcase and his violin, or his viola really, and at the border between Poland and Czechoslovakia at the time, they asked, of course, for ticket and visa. He explained to them in Russian, which they didn't know well, but they should know. And he did it, of course, with a certain chutzpah, certain authority. He explained to them that he was going to Moscow. And so he told me that the Polish conductor started laughing and tried to explain to him in broken Russian, which he didn't really know, that you're going south in order to go north, which doesn't make any sense, right? The couple of conductors or people who check tickets on the border, they had this like little conference kind of next to him, because they did it in Polish. They thought he only spoke Russian, and but he understood Polish, and so they were talking among themselves, why does he have a ticket but not a visa? And so one of them said, but listen, he has come all the way from Moscow, he must know somebody. So, that's what my father realized, that he realized that the whole communist system is based on fear. And so since he happened to have the social standing due to his musical career, that he could be, that in Poland he was like a king. And so therefore he realized that would probably make it possible for him to basically bully his way, so to speak, through Europe, and he did. He went to a refugee camp of refugees, and he said that when he walked in, He walked in with a suit and a tie. He had rubles. Rubles worked in every Eastern European country at the time. So he didn't. I mean, he fled, but his fleeing was a fleeing in luxury. So I mean, not luxury. It was not really luxury at the time, but in comfort. He was very comfortable, and so he walked into the refugee camp with a suit and a tie, and ironed clothes, and with his violin case in one hand and a suitcase in the other. And he said that they asked him. He said he's from Russia. They were shocked, and they said, "Откуда ты? Where are you from?" And he said, "Moskva." And he said that the guy's jaw just fell, because he had never in his life seen a person from Moscow. He is in the refugee, he said that the people in that camp had done great feats, going through the mountains, swimming through they had done real amazing feats in order to get out. And here somebody walks in, with a with a suitcase and a violin case and says, "Yes, hi, I'm from Moscow."